Real quick. All right, great. Welcome to our fall color tree tour. Some of you may have been on in the spring. We did a Mother's Day tree tour for the spring flowers. And we had a nice turnout for that. And so I'm really excited that we get to do this for the fall. We obviously typically will do in-person tree tours, and we did a few this fall, but it's really hard actually to pick like a time to do a fall color tree tour because the trees are changing at different rates. And so this actually allows us this great opportunity to highlight all the beautiful tree color that you maybe wouldn't see all in one tour, just because nature takes its time. So I'm excited for this opportunity. And of course, with the recording, hopefully more people will be able to enjoy this in the future. So our tour guide today is Hugh Weldon. He is our campus horticulturist and all-around tree expert. So please feel free to put him to the test on that. And he's going to walk us through some of the beautiful colors that we've seen on campus so far this fall. So with that, I will hand it over to Hugh.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We started talking about doing a fall tree tour a couple of months ago, and finally started taking pictures about a month ago, the beginning of October, when the colors first start showing up. This cover one was taken about a week ago. You can see we've already passed the peak color times, and still trying to get some shots, but we've got a little late. Some trees haven't even started changing yet, but the maples really started changing about a month ago, and we start getting some color in them, so we can start filing through them. Yep, there's a front of Tolentine Hall. The maple starts showing color there, some reds. We've got lots and lots of maples. We've decided to get the obvious ones out of the way first. Everybody talks about the maples campus. This one's right in front of Driscoll, I believe. So lots of red maples, sugar maples, trident maples. We often talk about the paperbark maple on the tours in the spring and summer. So there's a campus green in the center, over near the Driscoll tennis courts on the left and the right, actually. Both of them near the garden, the environmental garden. Here's that Fedigan, and again that in front of Driscoll. So lots of colors. I actually looked up yesterday to see how many maples there were, different maples, and counted 49 in one of the main books that I use. So it's a lot. We have about 8 or 9 different types on campus. Maples. They are really beautiful this time of the year. One of the most outstanding trees.
Hugh, I have a question. Are maples, sure, do they always turn red, or do they come in different colors too?
No, they come in different colors, yellows, oranges, reds. Some of them don't get much color at all. The invasive Norway maple doesn't get a whole lot of color. And here's a beautiful shot of the grotto. The maples in the background there. Color, so really nice. Really most stunning. Be forgiven to think this one was a maple. That ash tree that's at the back of the pavilion. I had to squint at it myself when I went back looking at the photos. Lots of oranges and yellows there. And the other one on the left is in front of Jake Nevin on the corner. Nice big mature one there. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. It's surrounded by concrete and blacktop and not a lot of room to grow. But also the emerald ash borer is taking care of a lot of them. So we are treating a few on campus, trying to save them, but can't save them all. Invasive insect emerald ash borers getting rid of a lot of them for us. Yep. Again, Pike Field, that whole row of them along there. That was about 2 weeks ago, that shot. Went out this morning and just hardly a leaf left on them now. Another one, nice big tall one in front of SAC there on the right. Just pure yellow on that. A lot of people don't think of oaks as fall color, but this one is just starting to change. So there's 2 main categories of oaks, reds and whites. We have both on campus. This one's down on South Campus over Driscoll, or over Donahue Hall, I should say. And the other one is I believe that's a white oak also. right in front of Austin Hall. That's about, remember that one being planted about 22 or 3 years ago. Doesn't take that long. It's pretty nice size. Beautiful, even though I believe it's a white oak, it's actually a lot of red color in it. Yep. Yeah, nice down front of Stanford on Long Island Avenue. That's the same tree in both photographs, just about a week later, week difference. Yeah. Yeah, it's willow oak in front of Driscoll Hall, just starting to get some yellow in it. They don't, not real bright colors, and with the willow oaks, but it's, still get some color. Yeah, the sawtooth oak, just a newly planted one with the transforming the campus landscape in front of John Barry. If you look closely at the leaves on that, it looks like a saw, like the teeth of a saw. Nice yellow color. Yeah, the sweet gums show off a lot of color this time of the year. The yellows and reds, purples even. A lot of them will hold on for a long time. Just a really nice color. It looks like a maple leaf almost, but it's a different, slightly different shape and a lot of neat colors in them. The sweet gums.
And Hugh, you may also want to point out the balls that also come with the sticky balls.
You get, a lot of people call them sticky balls because when they hit the ground, they just kind of stick to it. Very hard to clean up and rake up. But a lot of newer varieties are male clones, male cultivars. So if there's a name to the tree, a specific cultivar, you can be pretty much guaranteed that's a male one, male tree, and you don't have any of that cleanup to do. Yeah, nice one there. Looking at it, the bridge over at the Commons, getting quite popular again because of the male cultivars and clones. This little tree is a black gum or tupelo, they call it down south. This picture doesn't really do the trees justice because they do grow quite big, large. This is a new one, again planted with the Commons on South Campus at the Alban Triangle. And it not just has a great color, but they hold their leaves a long time into the fall, so it's long lasting color. Black gums. They don't get the sticky balls that the sweet gum get.
And Hugh, you mentioned that this is a newer tree recently planted. Is this a good time of year for people to plant trees?
This is the perfect time of year. From now until the ground is frozen, you can plant trees. The fall, it gives them a chance to root in a little bit in the fall, and then when the spring, they're starting to root in before the leaves pop open, before the buds open. Roots are already getting settled in, and that way they've got a good chance of surviving any drought we get in the summertime. That's where fall is usually the best time.
Mm-hmm. And there's an added benefit that lots of nurseries now probably have sales because they're trying to get rid of their inventory. So it's also a good time to buy.
Yeah, usually the end of November, middle to the end of November, get a lot of sales. Mm-hmm. And the honey locust, another one that's gotten popular in recent years. Nice yellow fall color with dapple kind of shade under it. The leaves are really easy to clean up, pretty small. And we have a large honey locust in the center of campus, in the center of the ellipse, variety ellipse. It's got huge big thorns, like 6 to 8 inch thorns on it. So we have to clean off on the bark of it every year, a couple of times a year actually, so nobody runs into it. They're on the trunk and on the branches. But these varieties that we've been planting around campus now, these are variety enormous, which is a thornless variety. So that's really nice about them. The hickories, it's a shot of them on South Campus in the woods there in front of Donahue Hall. Nicely mixed in there, kind of almost don't notice with all the other colors, but it's kind of good forest tree. Pignut hickory is a nice native one. Behind Alumni Hall there, beautiful color in it. Could be mistaken as a maple if you're just walking by and just glancing at it. But the other one's in front of Sear. see a lot of shots. There's a bit of fog in there. Took a lot of photographs in the fog one morning when I was out and about. Shagbark hickory is another one that's pretty easy to get, native one to get a hold of. It's Katsura down in Fedigan. Beautiful yellow in it. What's also nice about this is the smell from the leaves underneath. It's got a real candy cane kind of smell to it. Right, Liesl? You like that one?
Yeah, this is my favorite. For me, it's more like cotton candy or really like a burnt sugar, so like a creme brulee type of smell. And I don't know how long ago this photo was taken, but maybe hopefully there's some leaves left if people are interested in checking it out.
Yep. If you take a moment, sit around underneath the picnic table there.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice scent.
It's the best smelling picnic table on campus.
I say this is a young tulip poplar. It's only planted about 5 or 6 years, but it's got some nice color to it. Again, another picture doesn't do the tulip tree justice because they are a massive grown tree. We have some over in West Campus, 120, 130 feet tall. Nice colors. Yeah. Right, I can switch later. American hornbeam down in south behind Stanford. Great fall color, and the spice bush underneath of it there is yellow. Another native. One of the favorites on the tree tour, different times of the year, is the pawpaw. We always talk about the flowers and the fruit and all that, but that yellow is outstanding in the color of it too. A great fall color. And the beauty berries this time of the year often bring in a lot of attention to it, especially after those leaves drop and those purple berries are still there. Really catch everybody's eye coming around Tollentine.
They are so purple, it almost doesn't seem like it can possibly be real.
So yellowwoods. So again, on the tour, we normally talk about the wood. If you ever have to cut into it, it's really bright yellow, distinct smell to it, but the fall color is beautiful too. Beautiful yellow in it. Another nice native tree. White flowers in the spring, great fall color. That's a little bushy one there. But it's kind of weird that the tree that's deciduous there, that's the yellow wood. And the small bushy one's a yellow wood. So one's dropped its leaves so much quicker than the other one, just because of the shelter, I guess, and the size and growth habit of it. But not just yellow, it's orangey. Different. Birches are often overlooked for fall color. So they turn color pretty early and they drop early enough. So these ones are nice. Just a river birch. There's a couple of varieties that are relatively new, 20, 30 years on the market, that are very drought tolerant. Trying to think of the name of them now. Dura Heat is one, and I believe this one is it'll come to me in a second. Heritage. A heritage river birch or Dura Heat river birch. They don't have to be near the rivers. They don't have to be near water. They'll really survive the drought tolerance. Okay. And our native redbuds. Lots of pink and red flowers in the spring, but we forget about the fall color of them. So nice edge of the woods plant, take some shade, some sun, a little bit of everything, and really fill in a spot. If you've got a small garden area, redbuds are nice. There's newer varieties on the market, weeping ones, purple leafed ones, and even white flowering ones now. It's more redbuds just looking up into them. And our flowering dogwoods, native dogwoods at Austin Hall, right at the entrance there. It's, again, most people plant the dogwoods in the spring and look for the spring flowers. And they're great for the wildlife too. The squirrels and birds love to feed on the berries. But the fall color is really nice too, and it can last forever. Not forever, but for a good month or 6 weeks even. You know? Yeah, this is at home looking down on them. Second story floor window. Uh, that was a good about a month ago, 3-4 weeks ago. They still have some leaves on them. And the Korean dogwoods, a lot of Korean dogwoods on campus. Again, planted for the flowers in the spring. And they have the strawberry-like fruit on them hanging in the fall. And then the fall color comes along. So anything from red to orange. And also got great bark, speckled kind of bark in the winter. So I've got some winter interest in them also. And yeah, see the different colors, the orange there in the middle. And the other ones are red. That can change over time too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is there a way to, when you buy one of these dogwoods, to know what color its leaves are going to change, or is that a little harder to predict?
It's be hard to predict. Usually they're sold for their flowers. And I don't know of any cultivars. There is some hybrids that might be able to predict. It's a cross between the two different dogwoods. And they flower in the spring right in between the two kinds. But the fall color, that could be something to do with the soil also. And also if there's any girdling roots. I was reading recently about how see some trees that would be totally green and just one branch or bough of the tree would be changing color, yellow or orange in the fall. And often that's because it's struggling under girdling roots wrapped around the tree. Chinese Stewartia, again, very popular for the flowers, but the fall color is really orange and reds and all kinds of mixed colors in them. And these are pretty young trees. It's a little older. This one's about 25 years old at the back of Kennedy. As you can see the difference in the colors again. Yellows, orange. These were taken about a week apart, these photos. And the cutleaf maples. It's a nice older one, corner of SAC. Really cut leaves on them, really nice, really strange, which gives it a lot of character. And I actually like them after the fall, after all the leaves have gone. You can see the shape of the tree, the way it's branched out is really beautiful. You can get yellows, orange, reds. These ones you can buy in a nursery. They should be able to tell you which color they're going to be. Some of them are green all year and then change to a red or orange, fiery looking colors. And other ones just turn yellow. Other ones just turn pure red. And there's some kind of purple copper leaf ones all year that will change color also.
Yeah, there's one in my neighborhood that it almost changes, like the fire you're saying, like red, yellow, and orange. It's really beautiful.
Yep. And the more the leaf is cut, the more pricey they are usually. Very slow growing, great for a courtyard or anywhere like that. Toothache tree, prickly ash. So this one, lovely yellow color in it. This one's again at home, but it doesn't. It's in the woods, so it held its color longer. The one on campus is struggled to change color this year because of the spotted lanternflies. But great small native tree, some little prickly thorns on it, but still nice. And the berries on them, it's called a toothache tree because if you chew the berries on them, it'll numb you up just like Novocaine and smells and tastes like it too. So you'd think you were at the dentist. You can also strip off an inch or two of the bark when a tree is mature and chew it. That's what the Native American Indians use for toothaches.
No wonder why this tree isn't more popular. They should just say smells like the dentist and it'll fly off the shelves.
Another favorite, Franklinia, named after Benjamin Franklin. Again, usually sold for the flowers, sporadic throughout the summer. This tree was gathered down in Georgia along the Altamaha River. and from a famous botanist in Philadelphia time. I can't think of the name now. It's the original first garden in America, to say, down where the Schuylkill River and the Delaware meet.
Bartram?
Bartram's garden, yes. Thank you. Yeah, so Bartram and his son, John Bartram and his son, John, went on an expedition in the 1700s down to Georgia and collected seeds and plants. And he brought this one back with him and grew it and sold it. They went back a few years later to find more, to get a different diversity of the plant. And it was never found again in the wild. So they think something came in with the cotton, some disease with the cotton, and wiped them out. Well, so all of the Franklininia trees worldwide are from that first time they found it on that expedition, 1700s. Beautiful fall color too. I'm often asked what my favorite tree is, and sourwood is up there with them. It's the little one here on the right that was planted 2 years ago or so behind the church. It'll take some shade, some dapple shade, but the flowers in the late summer on it, on the one on the left down behind Simpson, that one is. We're actually going to move that one. It's in the way of some construction. So it's still small enough to move, but beautiful fall color in it. If you've got a slightly shady garden, some room, this one's really slow growing. Hard to get started sometimes, but once it gets going, it can grow pretty good. Fill in nice. We recently acquired a property campus, and this beautiful, magnificent one here is a few days late. Got this one early this week, this picture, and it's past peak, but still a lot of color in it. Had it been like 4 or 5 days earlier, it's just a massive ball of red orange color. The gentleman that used to own the property told us he had it looked at by experts, and they said it was the biggest one east of the Mississippi. So I don't know how true that is, but I did research it and checked that they're not native west of the Mississippi. So this could be the biggest one in the country. I'm going to have it measured and checked out. There's 4 or 5 listed on bigtreesofpa.com. If you're looking for big trees of PA, look it up. What's wrong, Liesl?
They couldn't pick a better name for that website.
bigtreesofpa.com, yeah. They're listed and give the sites and where you can find them and all that. So if you think you have a big tree in your property or in your neighborhood and you want to see if it's listed, go to that website. It's great. A lot of info on it.
Yeah, I was super excited. Hugh sent me this picture yesterday, and I couldn't believe that it's a sourwood because they are really slow growing. And I had seen a large specimen in Connecticut a couple of summers ago, but it pales in comparison to the size of this. This is just magnificent. So I'm really excited. Now I'm definitely going to go check it out, especially in the summer.
Yeah, what's neat about this tree, it has 2 branches that grow down to the ground and then root back in and come out bigger, just like the big beech tree on Center Campus in front of Tolentine. If anybody's ever gone and looked at that one, gone in underneath where the weeping beech, it goes down, roots into the ground and comes back up. This is the only other tree I know of that has done that. So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Oh, Hugh, we have a question of what property, where is it located?
It's behind West Campus, but it's still it's rented out to the previous owner. So we're not encouraging people to go there just yet.
Just yet. Okay. All right. Well, you have to let me know when they move out so I can go check out that tree. We'll have like a little mini tree tour.
Yeah.
Go see that one.
We often talk about the larch in the center of campus turning yellow, gold. This is actually a golden larch. It's not a true larch. The common name is golden larch. Nice bright colors. A couple of conifers. Talked a lot about the deciduous trees turning, but a lot of conifers will change color too. Even the white pines will change. Not all completely change, but they'll shed their needles. They'll turn yellow and shed their needles this time of the year. And this The larches are really nice. We'll often get a call about the one on Center Campus. Want to know what happened to the pine tree? It's dying. It's not a pine, it was a larch, and it changes this beautiful golden color. Yeah. Another conifer that loses leaves, the bald cypress. Really bronzy color in this one, really nice, unusual, different over at law school. The thing about the bald cypress too, if you've got a wet spot in your garden, they'll grow in standing water. They suck up a lot of water trying to dry out an area. You got somewhere where the water in your property drains to. Great choice, bald cypress. The ginkgo. Again, took this picture about 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't changed much. I was out there yesterday hoping to get a better shot for this tour, and not any different really. So, but it should be changing a complete yellow any day now, and they'll hold on for several weeks, and then overnight they just drop. Ginkgo biloba. So that's a lot of the trees, but this one was just a few fallen leaves. It was early in the season. Looking across campus over at John Barry there, the flag flying, really nice. The fountain in the front. So one of the things the crew has to do is clean out the leaves out of the fountain to stop it from clogging. So we've been doing that the last few days with a lot of the wind we had. Great. So you don't always have to be looking up for fall color. If you look down at the bushes, a lot of bushes show off some fall color. There's a blueberry bush at home. It's been like this for over a month. Nice reddy, bronzy color. But you know, if you have a spot for a few bushes, this is a great choice. Native blueberries, you know, flowers for the bees in the spring, got the berries for the birds, and then a great fall color to them. So you get 3 seasons out of it. Great for the wildlife. Viburnums, a lot of newer varieties. Market, I believe this one's Winterthur. No, this one's Brandywine. You know, there's several new ones named in Delaware. They were grown in Delaware and hybridized down there. Grown for the fall color mostly. Yeah, Korean spice bush, another viburnum. It's a nice big one there, hiding, blocking off the tennis courts in front of Driscoll. Yeah, there's the Winterthur viburnum. Did sneak in a few from home, as I've been saying. This one is one of the plants I was talking about. Only half of it changed color a month ago. The other side of it is still green. Still like that after a month. So maybe there might be a girdling root or something there causing it. And the American euonymus. This is called hearts are bursting, also because if the berries on it hang down and then they burst open and they look like a heart shape. Hearts are bursting. A lot of people talk about the burning bushes, the invasive burning bush, the euonymus, bright red this time of the year. So, but I didn't want to show it because it encouraged people to buy it. But the native ones are just as nice. It's more of a pinky yellowy color than the reds, but much better for the environment and not invasive at all.
So Hugh, the burning bush, I'm really familiar in seeing those like around a lot of parking lots. People use them kind of as like a barrier type bush, and yeah, they have that really striking red color. But so those are typically planted in direct sunlight. This looks like it's planted in like a shaded area. Does it also grow in direct sunlight as well?
It will take some more sunlight, yeah. This is behind Sullivan Hall on the walkway on Ryan's Way there. Yeah, it'll tolerate a lot more shade. Definitely will take some more sun. I'm not sure about direct sunlight, full sun. Yeah, the invasive burning bush, that will take a lot of harsh environments, the likes of parking lots and sidewalks. They are planted a lot of times for shade or for screening off hedges, but they grow very quick and take a lot of trimming, a lot of pruning once they get established, you got to go back and prune them hard every year. Smoke bush, another nice native. This is one is purplish all year round, but then it changes a little orangey before it drops its leaf. There is a green one also, but when they flower in the summer, it looks like smoke coming out of the bush. So that's why it's called that. But again, some nice orangey, reddish fall color. We'll often talk about the service berries on the tour in front of Austin. This one's at Driscoll Nursing. Again, another plant with white flowers in the spring, great berries late spring, early summer. Birds love them. Sweeter than blueberries, if you can get them before the birds do. But it's got a nice fall color too. Yellowy orange. Great color. Little mix here of spireas, junipers, and spice bush, I think it is in the background. But yeah, the spirea is grown for the summer flowers, but you get a nice red color too in the fall. Really stands out with the yellow of the juniper. Yeah. And the bottle brush buckeyes. Nice big grouping of it here, spread out, colonized a little. Nice yellow fall color. You say you don't always have to be looking up. A lot of times it's at eye level or lower. Great white flowers in June, around June, late May, early June, full of flowers. Butterflies love it. Bees and butterflies. Great pollinator. Yep, oak leaf hydrangeas. Just another native that's great for filling in areas. Grow pretty fast, can fill in a space pretty quick, but also can take a good pruning back. Just different leaf to it than most shrubs. Oaky kind of leaf to it. Great color to it. Yep. And Fothergill, another native. Beautiful fall color. These ones are around the pavilion. And I noticed some it's SAC also. Just a nice golden burning kind of color to it. Another one, multi-season, great flowers in the spring, fall color to it. Several different sumacs with the staghorn sumac. You'll often see this along highways, stuff, fall color. As it gets closer to the road, it'll change sooner. And then if you look back, you'll see it will colonize and take over an area, but easy enough to manage.
And do they have a fruit also, Hugh?
They do. They have a red kind of cone shaped. It's cone shaped, but it's not a cone. Red little berries dotted all around it. Yeah, hydrangeas again, and all summer long they flower. And come the fall, some of them change. The white will change to a browny, bronzy, some often pink color. Yeah, there we go. Nice bright pinkish in the fall. I'll often leave these on all winter long, just to add some winter interest. The nice when a little light snow on them kind of catches them. So great variety. Limelight or little lime is another one that's smaller, dwarf growing.
Yeah, I have a couple of these in my yard and they grow really well. And yeah, they have some nice color almost all winter long. And they're great for drying too. So if you like doing dried flowers.
Yep. Just yep. Yeah, and winterberry hollies, not just winter, they start to redden up early fall. Some new varieties of them have last well into the winter. And great for the birds late winter. And there's nothing much else around. Very holly. And we can't leave out the lilacs. This one's Miss Kim, semi-dwarf. It's in a planter, tough, hardy. The smell walking by this in the spring is awesome, but the fall color can be nice added interest. You wouldn't normally think of from lilacs. everybody planting mums this time of the year, but there is hardy varieties that come back year after year, perennial. This one's called Ryan's Pink. Just keeps spreading there in front of the church. We are going to be re-landscaping that area soon, but hope to save some of these. They're planted over 20 years. You can see how they've grown and spread out. You can get a little floppy sometimes, so if you prune them, if you cut them back, say late June, early July, like really use July 4th as a date, cut them back so that they don't flop over, they just stay bushier, stay upright. Asters, a lot of nice native asters, different colors, blues and purples, pinks. They great feeding for the bees this time of the year when there's not much else flowering. So great for the bees going into the winter, give them some encouragement and try and make it through. Goldenrod's another one, another late flowering native. Another one that can get a little floppy, can be trimmed back.
I'm sorry, Hugh. We have a question. How do you keep track of all these and decide on what to plant when you need something new?
We don't really have a way to keep track of it. It's all up here. But when deciding with trees, especially, we look at the landscape, check, make sure that there's no future buildings going in or anything like that. We look at the space, decide where it needs an evergreen or a shade tree. Will it take this? What size? Will it take a big opening? Will the tree be let to grow mature? Or do we need a smaller tree like a dogwood or paper bark maple, some smaller trees like that? So we kind of downsize it. How much shade will it get? Is it shaded from other trees? Is it shaded from with buildings? What the soil conditions are like? Is it wet, boggy, or dry, harsh on the top of a hill? Will a tree blow over? Does it need to be staked at the beginning? Try to lean towards natives first, and then if not, something that's different or unusual, something that we may not have on campus already, but definitely make sure that's not invasive.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And then if we can plant underneath that some bushes or perennials like this, try to do that also. Different layers in the landscape. It's just a nice fall mixture. Still summer annuals hanging in there, the begonias, balloon flowers, asters blooming in back, hydrangeas, magnolias. So kind of got it all going for it there. Yep. And this time of year, the grasses are really outstanding. There's a new popular one, Hamlin, right there in front of the pavilion. It's just fills it in. When you have big wide sweeps of grasses, they can be really nice. Just another great mixer there. Say the more groups you can put them together instead of single ones, the better they look. Just when they're just whipping around in the wind, they're really nice. Seeds, lots of seeds for the birds. Again, try and stick with native grasses, different varieties. You always get questions on this one in the fall. Amsonia, golden Amsonia. Again, multi-purpose perennial. Comes up in the spring, nice green leaves, bright blue flowers on the top. Really stands out. People kind of forget about it during the summer. Then come the fall, just when they're in mass plantings like that, they're really nice. I looked this one up yesterday just to make sure I was getting the spelling on it right. And the book said that it's a pretty rare plant and hard to find. But then I looked at the date of the book, it was 1994 when it was printed. So it's gotten really popular and easy to find in the nurseries and garden centers now. So again, look up at the tree lines, down at eye level, down at the ground, lots of different colors out there to see. Now it's just a touch of autumn on campus. Again, about a month's timeline there. So still plenty of leaves out there, plenty of things still changing. So if you get a chance, come out and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I thought that was the end.
Yeah.
We have one more question.
Sure.
Oh no, we don't have another question, just a comment.
Getting
Okay,
like today.
great. Thank you so much, Hugh. So if anyone has questions, you can definitely either put them in the chat or just unmute yourself. You're welcome to ask anything about the tour that we just went through. If there's another tree on campus or bush that you've been curious about, you can bring that up now. Gain a lot of thank yous.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
You had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I was wondering how old the beech trees on the front lawn of campus are.
So we don't have accurate records of them, but I had some experts in a couple of years ago, and they estimated to be 120 to 140 years old. They're grown out there on their own. So if they were grown in a forest, they'd be a lot smaller for that age. But because they're out there in the wide open, they don't have a whole lot of competition except the grass. So they're getting a lot of nutrients, a lot of watering, all that. So yeah, we estimate them to be about 120, 140 years old.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we have a question about hydrangeas. Regarding in New Jersey, how best to protect them in the winter ahead. We've already had some cold nights and now low 60s and 70s. What do you need to do for hydrangeas for the coming winter?
Actually, hydrangeas, you don't need to do anything for them for the winter. We said you can leave the old flower heads on as just some winter interest. The trick with hydrangeas is placing them in the right location. So you want summer, or you want the morning sunlight on them and afternoon shade, because they'll wilt a lot of times in the middle of the summer. The afternoon with the full sun on them, take a lot of water. They often recover the next day, next morning. Mm-hmm. But the real trick to is when to prune them is late spring. Just when they're starting to bud up, just as those leaves are starting to crack open. Because if you prune them too early, I usually use them around the middle of April or last frost day. If you prune them before that and we get a late frost, what you're doing is when you prune them, you're forcing those smaller buds lower down to open up sooner. And if they open up too soon and you get a late frost, it'll kill them off. It won't kill the plant, but you won't get any flowers in the summer. You get a lot less flowers.
And Hugh, should you prune all hydrangeas or just some varieties?
Again, it's just plant is location. You don't have to prune them at all. If they're growing into an area that you need to trim them back, then that's the time to do it. It's like mid to late April.
Awesome. Any other questions? Who's going to go out and buy a tree now? I'm always inspired by the beautiful fall color. I feel like people buy trees, like you said, Hugh, for the flowers in the springtime a lot. But I like buying trees now, because then you really are incentivized to buy a tree for its beautiful fall color.
Yeah. So again, planting trees, you want to plant them just slightly high, just like an inch above ground level. Find where that first root is, where that root flare is coming out. You want that just about an inch above the ground, and then mulch them in. So usually 2 to 3 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more than that is too much. You want to mulch it up close to the trunk, but keep it about 2 inches from the trunk. You don't want to build it all up around the trunk, what they call in the industry volcano mulching. That's bad for it. It keeps the moisture against the tree, so it rots and you get insects and disease in there. You get too much of a good thing. It's not good for it.
Yeah, yep, no, that's great advice. Thank you, Hugh. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you, everyone.